The carriage bringing Jan to this rough, dark diamond of a city made its way over Blackfriars Bridge. Mr. Tull, whose job it had been to transport the boy here, had been instructed to wait for Mr. Laxton's carriage at an inn on Fleet Street. The courtyard of the Boar Inn was full of stagecoaches and horses. Ladies and gentlemen, assorted parcels and trunks, all taken up with the hectic business of arriving or leaving. Mr. Tull stopped at the door of the inn. He took Jan by the scruff of the neck and steered him as one would a dog into the inn. Jan shook himself free of Mr. Tull's clutches and sat huddled up in the corner. The journey had been a blur of misery and grief. He didn't like his jailer, for that was how he had come to think of Mr. Tull, a bulldog of a man who had made it quite clear that the feeling was mutual.
"Now you stay put, while I see if the carriage has arrived."
Tull leaned across, grasping the lapels of Jan's coat.
"If you so much as move one of them there miserable muscles of yours, you'll be in for it and no mistake. Do you get my drift?"
Jan watched as Mr. Tull wove his way across the courtyard and decided to take his chance. His one aim was to get back to Paris, to find where Tetu had been buried, and kill Kaliowski. In his haste to leave, he ran into the innkeeper.
"Hey, where do you think you're going, you blasted scallywag?"
The man shouted as the tray he was carrying went flying. There was a loud crash as pewter tumblers and plates of food fell to the floor. Jan didn't stop to look back at the mess he had caused. Quickly he swerved past a coach driver, ducked and dived round horses and a carriage, and ran straight into a well-dressed man who firmly but kindly put his hand on his shoulder. "Jan Margosa, I take it," said Henry Laxton in flawless French. Mr. Tull came panting and puffing after him, shaking his fist.
"Where's that ruddy boy? That little even? I'll wring his scrawny neck, I will."
"You will do no such thing," said Mr. Laxton, still holding firmly on to Jan. Pushing him into his carriage and climbing in after him, he nodded to his coachman, who handed Mr. Tull an envelope with his money in it. Mr. Tull started counting. "It is the agreed sum," said Mr. Laxton. By now the carriage was making its way out through the arch, disappearing into the main thoroughfare.
"Wait a minute, not so ruddy fast,"
shouted Mr. Tull to the disappearing wheels.
"I need money for the breakages."
Mr. Tull was not in a good mood as he walked towards the Red Lion Inn, a tavern renowned for the company of rogues. If he couldn't make an honest penny by hard work, then perhaps it would be more worthwhile to make a dishonest pound instead.
"Where is the justice?" said Mr. Tull to himself. "The rich get everything and do nothing for it, and all the while they expect the likes of me to risk life and limb for 'em. And they don't even pay for breakages."
He had heard the talk of clever people in Paris, people who knew what the tomorrows of life had in store. Civil war in France. That was what they were predicting. As far as he was concerned, it couldn't come soon enough. There was money to be made in upheavals.